I got this thing all wiped down, and after a little bit of contemplation, I'm gonna go for the easiest route, and I'm going to make an additional vent or crankcase ventilation on the valve cover. I'm just gonna use the oil fill spot. So we're gonna drop the car down and modify the oil fill plug, and then we'll see if that fixes the leak, because it only happens under boost. So that's like the only thing I can think, is that it's getting pushed out of the rear main seal somehow or something. I'm not sure why. I have a catch can. I have two 10AN oil drains on it. So we'll get this thing down and handle that. This is what we're gonna modify right here. I'm not sure why a crankcase pressure would be a problem, because we got our catch can back here. But we will see. We'll go ahead and add one on this here, and then I guess we'll go from there. So here we go. So a quick overview of what we got. We got just, a regular old breather filter. Little section of tubing. We got our two push lock fittings. We got two 10AM bungs. We have our oil fill cap. We have a section of 1.5 inch tubing. So clean this up. It is gonna stay this long, and I'm just gonna go right off the side here. So this tank is gonna mount about here. It's gonna sit about there, and the top plate will just be a square, not just square, but I'll round it off and everything, but it'll sit like that. And then this lip will slip up into the cowl there, so I can secure this. But once it's secured, it's pretty simple. From there, it's sitting in the engine bay, and you have your port that comes off the side, your filter. I'll make a divider inside of here that'll then prevent it from just shooting straight out. It'll actually have to somewhat circulate to prevent oil from just escaping out the filter. But just do a really simple, just try to relieve some pressure and see if that is in fact the issue, because that's the only thing that makes sense. It's only under boost, and it's just enough to create just an annoying little problem. So we'll see if this will resolve the issue here. So we got our ends there. I'm going to drill holes, because we're going to need to drill a hole right here, and then another one up here for the 10AN, and then we'll have to have a divider plate in here like that. So now I didn't really record a whole lot of that, but this is what we got. So we have a canister, right? And you can see in this port, it hits a dead wall. And so I welded in a plate that kind of sits at an angle like that. And so as this, vents, there's about 1.5 inch gap down here to where it hits the wall, and then it can still vent. So we'll go ahead, and this is just gonna zip tie in place. This isn't gonna be anything way too specific. And then I got my filler cap modified. So I drilled the hole and then just welded this dude on. So this will just thread right in place. Bam, just like that. And we'll get the tank mounted, and then we're using push lock fittings. So this will be pretty quick and simple. So let's get it done. So that'll sit back there, and then I'll just route that dude right there. You can see kind of how catch can sits down there, line routes back around, comes up. And so theoretically it should be able to vent, do its thing. So I guess now is the time to get her off the lift and rip her and see if it works or not. As you can tell, we got some form of a contraption set up. We are still leaking oil. So it's leading me right back to the other conclusion I had. So we're gonna try something just out of curiosity from this. Made this little adapter for an air fitting to go on. I capped the breathers. We're then gonna hook up the chuck to this regulator and regulate about 5-6 PSI in it with it in the air. And that'll tell us, we'll be able to hear if there's any audible leaks or anything like that, possibly even see where this thing is leaking from. So yeah, here we go. Let's do this. Well, that left me in confusion, actually. Car's still kind of warm, so I'm going to call it quits for the night. But we pressurized the crankcase, as you saw, and I could hear things, but not really sure what the things are making noises and the things that aren't making noises should be making noises. I'm not sure what things are going on. Yeah, this car's got me tuckered out on this entire oil leak issue, but a couple things I gotta check. I'll pull the starter and check the crankshaft position sensor. I've already checked it, but I'll double check it again. There is a galley plug right above the crank sensor that I'll check. Other than that, the side caps are the side main bolts, the small ones like the M8 by 1.25 bolts that go through the side of the block. I'll check those and make sure those aren't leaking. Honestly, other than that, the only thing I can think is a defaulty, like maybe the pan is cracked or something, and that's why it's leaking. I'm not sure. I've literally checked everything. I've replaced everything thus far, and we are still in the same boat. I guess the only thing, no, even then, it wouldn't make sense. It's just, it's a conundrum, man, because I've replaced the oil pan gasket. I've replaced the rear cover twice. I've checked the cam sensor. I've done all of that. There's never been like a visible, like, hey, this is what's causing the issue. So it's like, what is going on up in here? So that's where I'm going to leave it for tonight. we're going to leave it there. I've got plenty here to make a decent little video to where you guys can hate me. And, I don't know. Please tell me what you want. If it's not something simple like I'm hoping it is, I thought it was a catch cam maybe. It was had too much crankcase pressure, and then that was, you know, pushing oil out the rear main or something like that. But I put that other catch can on there just to help it vent a little bit more, and still the same thing. So, you know, nice little drip. And then what's really annoying about it is it just coats everything. So it goes all over the downpipe, it goes all over the transmission, all over the rear end, all over the side of the floor. It seems like it's originating on this side, but I haven't been able to pinpoint where it's at. And so that's gonna be it. And let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys like this kind of content. I know it's not the welding fabrication stuff, but it is what it is. That's what we do. This is literally the day in, day out stuff. We work on customer orders, we get that stuff done, and then whenever I have free time, I spend it on my projects, the shop projects. And those shop projects are ultimately what make product and eventually turn into business revenue. So therefore, we do this stuff. This is B&M Performance Fab. Signing out. Hope you guys have a good night. Stay safe, and like, subscribe, share, do your thing. Or if you don't want to do any of that, that's cool too. Sit on your couch, grab a beer, drink it up. And that was really stupid, but I'll talk to you guys later.
Now to check and see if there's an oil leak still. And this what happens when you
Told Alex that if it dripped again, I'm going to turn the boost up and just send rods to this block.